Tell me if this sounds familiar. You're trying to drop the extra weight so that you can finally get your energy, your confidence, your life back, just like you had in your earlier years, whether you were an athlete, whether you just were fitter earlier, you're just trying to get back. So you're eating clean all week, you're eating healthy, skipping every treat, avoiding soda, cutting out the sugar, loading up on so many fruits and veggies that you're pretty much about to turn into a dang carrot, and then the weekend hits. Time for a little cheat meal, right? After all, you deserve it. You've done well all dang week. So you and the family load up and you go down to the local Mexican place, your favorite one. I know I've got my favorite one. And when you get there, you promise yourself you're only going to have a few chips and maybe a small margarita. You're not going to overdo it like you did the last time. And then bam, all that willpower that you've built up over the veggie-packed week straight up evaporates. Suddenly you're elbow deep in your third basket of chips. Your carne asada platter is licked clean. You finished a full margarita and you're still craving dessert. Maybe I'm just describing myself, but I would imagine this is probably you as well. And then about an hour later, you realize that you've probably eaten enough calories to undo the whole week. And then you get into the mindset of, well, screw it. I messed up so bad, I may as well just start fresh on Monday. Well, if that's where you've been, you are in the right place, because today I'm actually talking about how cheat meals sabotage your waistline more than pretty much anything else can. And the good news is that I'm not going to tell you you need to avoid Mexican food or your favorite Japanese place or any of that stuff or your margaritas. No. I'm not going to tell you that at all. Instead, I'm going to show you how allowing yourself these foods more regularly, more often, is going to actually do the thing for you. It's going to lead to more weight loss instead of less. Now, I know that sounds crazy, like eat these foods more often and I'm going to lose weight. I get it, but trust me, once you understand this concept, you're never going to feel the need to cheat again. So in this video, I'm going to show you why cheat meals trigger massive calorie overages and why you end up starting over every Monday. The simple 80-20 strategy that lets you enjoy your favorite foods any day of the week that I use for my clients and for myself. And a mindset shift that finally puts an end to the binge and restrict cycle for good. So if you're here and you want to learn how to lose weight without punishing yourself or feeling deprived, buckle up. This is going to be a game changer for anybody there who, again, feels like their cheat day just undid all their hard work. Now, I'm going to be honest with you and tell you, I used to have my personal training clients do cheat days and cheat meals, and several of them were successful, just like I was able to be successful for a bit. But the problem is that they had a horrible relationship with food, no food freedom, and if they were like me, and many of them were, they daydreamed and fantasized about food all week long. And there was an idea that there's good foods, which you have, and there's bad foods that you avoid. And every now and then, if you're good because you avoided the bad foods, then you get some bad foods as a reward. What the flip? How does this make sense? This is what I did for years, okay? So, if you're tired of feeling exhausted and frustrated and confused about why your weight loss has totally stalled or why you keep on going backwards, then I want you to go ahead and comment the word masterclass, or you can click the link in the description and I'm going to send you over the system, which is, again, there's a metabolic masterclass that I made for my clients. It's only 16 minutes long. It's going to rock your world. It's going to show you kind of like pulling back the curtain of how fat loss actually works. And it's not avoiding dang foods. I can promise you that, okay? So you can comment masterclass or click the link and I'll send you that directly and you can go ahead and access that 16-minute training. It's going to rock your face off, I promise you. With that being said, welcome if you are new here. Welcome back if you have been here. I'm Lance and I help professionals and entrepreneurs achieve permanent fitness transformations instead of the weight loss that's temporary where you lose, feel good, and regain it all later. And I do this without crash diets, without torturous workout sessions, or expensive appetite-suppressing injections. I won't say the names, but you know what I'm talking about. So since 2005, though, I've helped hundreds upon hundreds of food-loving clients build strong, lean bodies and regain confidence and energy while enjoying the process. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's the way that this is. So what I'm going to do is tell you about a client of mine. I'm going to call her Marissa just to protect her identity. I'm sure she wouldn't care, but Marissa is or we'll say at the time, was a 48-year-old executive who lived for her Saturday cheat days just like I did, okay? Now for us, we would have our cheat days sometimes on Saturday, sometimes on Sunday. We've tried the cheat meal, then we went to 2 cheat meals. We tried a full cheat day. We tried it all, okay? And Monday through Friday, she was practically a monk, and that's how we lived also. Plain salads, grilled chicken, 0 treats. I can remember even having a client bring me something. This would have been probably in 2006. Bringing me like, oh, I made you some cookies. And I'm thinking, great, I can't have these until Saturday and it's Monday. They're going to be hard as a rock and I'm going to hate these, but yet I want them and they smelled so good. They look so good. I'm talking gooey chocolate chip cookies. And by Sunday night, we would end up overindulging so bad that we would feel sick, bloated, and guilty because we would just eat everything in sight. And we would pretty much wipe out our entire calorie deficit in one day, sometimes even in one meal. And this is what Marissa was doing over and over. Now, she thought that she lacked discipline, and I'll be honest and say I thought I lacked the same thing. But the real culprit was actually the cheat day mindset and labeling foods as good or as bad. So once we replace the cheat meals with a flexible daily approach where you literally have the foods that you want 7 days a week, where you have small indulgences in moderation, her cravings dropped, my cravings dropped, her energy soared, our energy soared, her weekly weight loss actually stuck and so did ours. Now she, just like us, I'm 39, she's older, I'm not going to say the age now, she's maintaining her leanest body without feeling deprived, and that's what we're doing too. So if you think that your age or your lack of discipline is the reason that you can't keep the weight off, I'm going to give you some really, really great help here just a second, okay? So the very first thing is that we want to, and you're going to see me look over here too, I've got some notes to keep me on track. So the very first thing we want to do is get rid of the all or nothing thinking. All or nothing thinking is going to sabotage your business, your marriage, your fitness, everything. And this is no exception. So labeling foods as bad or off limits Monday through Friday is only going to make them feel irresistible on your cheat day, okay? It's kind of like this old psychology thing that I learned years ago where the psychologist was making a point to say how hard it is to do this avoidant thing in life. And how by doing that, all it does is make you a slave to the thing you're not trying to think of. And so he painted the picture where he's like, all right, don't think about a blue car. Don't picture the 4 doors that it has. Don't picture the black wheels and the chrome hubcaps and the chrome handles. Stop picturing this car. Don't picture the blue car. Don't focus on the fact that it's midnight blue and it's got like a dent on the driver's side door. Don't picture any of this. And of course, we're all picturing this, right? You're probably picturing it right now. Some form of a car. Now, maybe you're picturing a Taurus and somebody else is picturing some other 4-door car, but you're picturing a 4-door midnight blue car, even though I just told you not to. And this is how the diet system works whenever you're told these are bad foods, these are good foods, you can have this, but not this. So all you're going to do is think about that, and that is what this perpetuates. So your brain feels rewarded for binging and reinforces this cycle every single week. Now, you need to know that guilt and shame set in once the cheat is over. It does for me, it did for my clients, and this is going to make you restrict even harder the next week because for her, for me, for Lauren, for many of my clients, you might lose 2 pounds in the week, you feel good, you reward yourself with the bad food that you avoided all week, and you've been so deprived that you don't want just a little bit. You think you do, but you are deprived, so you just start gobbling it up, and now you're up 5 pounds, which is 3 pounds heavier than the 2 pounds you just lost. So now you feel like, well, I've got to deprive myself more. I've got to go harder, go big or go home, right? So that's what you do. And this leads to this yo-yo effect physically and mentally where it's avoid, binge, restrict, avoid more, binge again. And it just doesn't work, okay? So we've got to get rid of the all or nothing mindset if you want to make this work and keep the weight off. Now, full disclosure, if you're watching this video and you're still looking for quick fixes where you're just like, just tell me what to do to get the weight off as quickly as possible. I'll do whatever it takes. Give me 75 hard, cut out my carbs, just get it off as quick as possible. You're in the wrong place. I'm just going to tell you that right now. I've done all that crap. I've trained the people who want to do that, and all they do is regain it. And then they want to drop off the face of the planet because they're embarrassed. I've done it. I'm not here for that person. But if you are the person who you're going, look, I've lost 20, 30, 50 pounds and I regain it because of all the different things I've done. I need to know how to lose the weight, keep it off, and I don't know, maybe feel fit and energetic and confident year round. You're in the right place. That's what I'm going to show you how to do. Now, the second thing that we've got to do is you've got to understand that one cheat meal, cheat day, 2 cheat meals, whatever, it can blow your whole week up. Okay? I know that people like to say like, oh, calories don't matter. You don't need to count calories. You don't need to track this. My clients don't count calories and they don't count macros. But my clients do the same thing that you do to make sure that you don't spend more than you make. Would you ever, if you were in debt, would you ever listen to advice of somebody saying, look, you don't need to check your bank register before you go spend that at Target? Just go get it if you want it. Just make sure it's not extravagant and then you're fine. You'd be like, what's extravagant? How do I know? How do I know what I made if I don't, like, it's not mathematically balanced. It's not science balanced, okay? So I'm not going to tell you you need to count everything and all. I'm not doing that, but I am telling you, you need to be very keenly aware of how much you burn versus how much you consume. Now, I'm not talking about like, okay, my Fitbit today said that I burn 1,800. Today I only ate 1,600. Your Fitbit and your Apple Watch is not going to be accurate enough. But there are mathematical ways where you can figure out how many calories your body requires each day to maintain its weight based on your activity. And when you know that, you simply make sure that you don't indulge more than that amount. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just means that if you have a metabolism, which is how many calories you're burning in a day, that allows you 2,500 calories a day and you eat 2,800, it doesn't matter if you count calories, don't count calories, whatever, that overage in calories is going to lead to weight gain. Anybody who says anything different is telling you a lie. It's just that simple. I'm getting all worked up here. Let me grab a drink. Okay. Now, a single pizza and ice cream blowout can rack up thousands of calories, and I know I've done it, okay? Your body doesn't just reset each week. Weight loss is about overall consistency and save calorie deficits. And if you're massively overeating every weekend like I did for years, you're stuck in a maintenance or even a weight gain mode instead of a weight loss. It's not going to work for you. Now, the other thing you got to do, you've got to shift to a flexible eating approach, okay? Now, I first learned about like if it fits your macros and flexible eating about 12 years ago, maybe 15. And when I looked into it, I was like, this is not good. Because I was hearing people just eating anything that they wanted so much so that they were malnourished and they're eating junk, greasy, nonstop stuff. That's not how you want to do this. But what we teach is the 80-20 rule, and that can help so much more than cheat meals, and you're going to feel way better. So you want to enjoy nutrient-rich, satisfying foods 80% of the time. They're going to keep you feeling full. They're going to nourish you, and they're going to do the essence, the heavy lifting of the weight loss journey. But then 20% of your calories, and that can only happen if you know how many calories that you should be eating, you can include your daily indulgences in moderation. That means if you want a Snickers, a Reese's, pizza, as long as it's within about 20 to 25% of your calorie range, you can enjoy it 7 days a week. So for example, have a small scoop of ice cream on a Wednesday after work if you want it. No need to wait for a cheat day. Or like I did 2 nights ago 2 nights ago. Forget what day it is. On Saturday night, we had pizza for dinner and it was delicious. It was amazing. I had like 3 or 4 slices and didn't go over my macros, didn't overindulge, wasn't up weight the next day. It's all because I understand how to fit that in and how to include it. It's called margin. And that's what I teach. That's exactly what I help my clients to do. That's why my system is called Joyfully Fit 365. It's because you're going to get fit joyfully and you're going to stay there 365 days a year. I know it seems like a foreign concept, but that's what we do and it works. It's so enjoyable, okay? So the other thing you got to do is focus on balance and not extreme. So you want to pair higher calorie meals with lighter one in the same day or week, all right? So that means that if you're wanting a pizza later that night, you don't want to go and get Taco Bell for lunch that's high calories. You want to make sure you're eating leaner for lunch to make room, to create margin. Guys, it's the exact same as saving up for something where you're like, well, I know I just got my paycheck, but on, Friday I'd like to go to, I don't know, the Cardinals baseball game or something like that. And we want to go out to eat and have dinner and so on and so forth. So all you're going to do is just check your checkbook, your bank account, just making sure that if you do that, you're still going to have room to pay your bills, to have the gas in your car, and all the things that you need to do. It's just called being an adult. You're just making sure, hey, before I spend this, do I have it in there to spend? That's all my program is when it comes to the nutrition aspect. Yes, I teach a lot more than that, but that's the principle of how you lose body fat, okay? All right. Now, let's see. What was the other thing I wanted to make sure I don't need that part. So this is another part too. You got to eliminate the notion of forbidden foods. I'm going to tell you right now, think of any food right now and that you think might be off limits. And I want you can say it out loud, you can write it, you can think it, but that food that you're thinking of, it's not off limits. It's allowable. I don't care what it is. Now, I will say that you can go get a cheesecake and that's allowable. Or you can go to Cheesecake Factory and you can have a 2,700 calorie cheesecake that's like this big. Yes, it's going to taste delicious, but this is where you go, wait a second. I can go to Walmart or, the bakery down the road and I can get a cheesecake slice and it's 400 calories. Or I can go there and have 2,700 calories. Well, guys, this is the same as having or I should say guys and girls, this is the same as going to get a purse that's nice, maybe a Coach purse. $200-$300. It might be a little bit expensive for some, but okay, $200 or $300. And then a Louis Vuitton purse that's like $1,600, $2,400. You're still getting a nice purse, but do you really want to blow your budget on a $2,700 purse? Or are you okay with a $300 purse? That's the same principle as what I teach pertaining to cheesecake and pizza. Yes, you can go to, Chicago and have like their huge deep dish pizza and it's going to be 2,100 calories for a slice. Or you can have like a New York style pizza where it's a thin slice and it's like 250 per slice. Still pizza, still gonna be not off limits, but one of them is gonna blow all your calories in one sitting and one of them won't. So you do need to be decisive on some of those things, but you don't need to avoid them. Now, the other thing that I want you to know is that when you're in a weight loss deficit, you're not gonna get as many options as what you'll have is when you go through my reverse dieting phase, which is what restores your metabolism. So what I always like to remind my clients is, yes, in the beginning, you might have a lower budget of your calories and macros, but stay the course and know that when we start repairing your metabolism to get it back up to snuff, you're going to end up having so many more options where maybe that cheesecake factory cheesecake does actually fit in your macro budget or your calorie budget. And you're like, yeah, you know what? I do want it. And you go for it because you've got it. But the equivalent of this, guys, is if you make $250,000 a year and you want to go get yourself a $100,000 Corvette, go for it. But if you make $50,000 a year, you can go for that same Corvette. You might be able to afford it, but you're not going to be able to afford much else. That's the same principle. Is this making sense? Go ahead and drop me a comment and let me know if this is making sense. So these are the principles though. Now, the last thing is that you've got to include foods that you love daily instead of trying to resist and then caving finally. You're not a fitness monk. I'm not a fitness monk. And there are no rewards for staying like a fitness monk 6 days a week and then blowing all your macros and calories in one day more than your whole week. There's no rewards for that. It doesn't matter that you're like, you should have seen me all week, man. I said no to this, no to that, no to this thing. Because you said yes to all this today because you said no to it all week. So I'm telling you that if you budget it in and if you plan for it, you're going to do so much better, okay? So if you allow a piece of dark chocolate or a small cappuccino each day or a frappe latte, all the, stuff. There's so many drinks that are labeled all kinds of weird frou-frou things. Pick one of those, you can have it. Now, do I want that? No, I want to eat my calories. I don't want to drink my calories unless it's going to make me full and somehow make me feel like I'm just in bliss. But I don't really see some sort of caramel macchiato frappe thing really doing it for me. So for me, it's like I want pizza, I want Mexican food, I want sushi. I want foods that are going to be like, whoa, this is good. I can't believe I get to eat this and I'm losing body fat. That's what my clients experience. That's what I want you to experience as well. So you're going to be far less likely to binge on the weekend when you allow yourself these indulgences instead of doing the fitness monk thing where you turn everything down and think that you're going to be rewarded by weight loss from it. Because you might get some weight loss, but it's small because you're going to end up, unless you are that fitness monk, you're going to end up reaching for those more satisfying foods later. And by then, because of the deprivation, you end up overdoing it so much that you end up wrecking your whole week. And then you feel like your discipline is off or your willpower is off. It's not your discipline and willpower. It's the fact that you're trying to convince yourself that you don't have cravings or that you don't deserve to just enjoy some food or that you can't and still lose weight. I promise you, you can still enjoy those foods and lose weight. It's all about the balance. And I'm not one of those people that says, it's just moderation. What does that even mean? Well, I teach you what that means and specific on how to do this stuff. If you want to learn more about that, shoot me a DM. Let's chat a little bit about what that might look like to work in my Joyfully Fit 365 program. So the other thing that you got to do is plan for social events and leave yourself margin of room for the foods that you desire instead of cheating, instead of making yourself room for a cheat day or a cheat meal where there's all like no holds barred, where you're just like, well, it's a cheat day. It's a free for all. We used to call it like a free day. There are no free calories. That free day where I'm doing that, unless I was like in a crazy several thousand calorie deficit by the end of the week, no free day is going to allow me to keep that weight gone if I'm doing a free for all. It's just not going to happen. So the main thing is that if you're going to a birthday party or a wedding or something, just budget for a slice of cake into your day. Plan for it. You might say, well, I don't know what they're serving. Look on MyFitnessPal, find some form of cake on there, even if it's a little bit off, put it in there and you're going to see like, oh, it's about 300 calories. All right, I'm just going to eat a little bit lighter throughout the day to make sure I've got room for that. And then you're able to. Now, here's the key. If you're just coming out fresh from the whole, cheat day extravaganza thing, you still might fall into some of the stinking thinking when you're at that wedding or the birthday party where you're like, well, I better eat this up because tomorrow I don't get this again. Wrong, wrong, wrong. What you're going to tell yourself is that you get some of this food, and if you want it again tomorrow, you can have it, but you don't need tomorrow's food today, because then those tasty foods that are calorie dense, you overeat on them because of the flavor, not because of hunger, and then you're wrecking everything. So instead of doing that, remind yourself, like, this is all I get today, because again, this is what I budgeted for. If I want some tomorrow, then I'll have some more again tomorrow. And this is going to keep you out of the, I better gobble it all down because tomorrow comes reality again. No, don't do that anymore. So hopefully this is making sense. This is not cheating though. This is strategic, mindful enjoyment. All right. So this making sense, guys? Let me know in the comments below. So if you're ready to ditch once and for all the binge and restrict roller coaster, go ahead and comment masterclass or macros or metabolism, any of those things below, or you can hit the link in the description box. And this is going to give you my free metabolism and fat loss secrets masterclass. It's something that, again, that I created specifically for my private clients. But in this training, you're going to actually see why most weight loss plans actually slow your metabolism and exactly what to do instead so that you can lose fat sustainably while still enjoying all the favorite foods that we've talked about today on this video. All right? So remember, cheat meals are not a reward, and bad foods are not a reward for doing good. There are no such thing as good foods and bad foods. There are calorie-dense foods, which you should have 20% of, and then there are nutrient-dense foods, which you should have 80% of. As long as you do this, by allowing a little bit of flexibility every day, you're going to find that you don't need those massive weekend blowouts anymore, and you don't even feel deprived. You're going to lose weight steadily, feel more energized, and actually enjoy your lifestyle. So if this video resonated, guys, please go ahead and hit that like button. It's going to really trigger the algorithm to show that I'm here to help more people who are ready to get out of the lose weight, regain it, lose weight, regain it. I'll try a cheat day. I'll try cutting my carbs. I'll try this. I'll try that. And it's going to help those people finally get out of that stuckness and finally get a healthy food freedom mindset where you're not getting a temporary weight loss makeover, you're getting a permanent fitness body transformation. And there's a major, major difference. So don't forget to go ahead and click the link below to get that masterclass for the metabolism and fat loss secrets. It's going to rock your face off. You don't want to miss it. So thank you guys so much for joining in. I appreciate you guys. Let me know if you have any comments, concerns, questions. I will answer every single comment that I get. You guys rock, and I'll see you guys on the next one.